Hello, World Tank Blitzers, it's Littlefinger. Hey, wanted to do a full tank review on the WOT268. We are at the end of December 2022, and this may be my first full tank review of the year. As you know, I focus mainly on store reviews, didn't do as many videos this year, and took some time away from the YouTube channel, but I want to get back into it. I really hope that you guys find these videos useful and will hit that subscribe button for me. And a lot of you guys requested this WOT268, so I wanted this to be the first tank out. Make suggestions down below in the comments and try to get to them as we start 2023. So wanted to just go through the setup on this tank first, and then we'll get to the comparing it to other tanks in the tier, and then armor inspector. As far as consumables, I'm running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, I'm running extra combat, improved fuel, and condensed milk. Running 18, 10, and 7, 10 heat. And getting to the most important part is the equipment. Now, this tank has very nice pen numbers. For 300 for AP without the calibrated shells, 360 is at it without the calibrated for your heat, and 90 for HE. I'm primarily running calibrated shells to get this up to 100, but if there's any one of these equipment slots that I could see you guys playing with and seeing if it works better, would be the gun rammer. Our damage per minute, as we'll see when we compare it to the other tanks, is towards the bottom, so this would help out in that regard. Defense system, camo net, enhanced gun lane drive. The shell velocity on this tank is not great, but I don't feel that this tank serves itself as useful being a sniper due to its lack of dispersion. So that's why I run the enhanced gun lane drive. Improved assembly, engine accelerator, running that refined gun, enhanced tracks, and consumable delivery system. All right, guys, as you know, when I do my full tank reviews, I like to pull up blitzstars.com for 1 and Armor Inspector for 2 to take a look at this tank, look at the armor, look at how it compares to the other tanks as well. We've got a full lineup here of tier 10 tank destroyers, non-turreted. All of these are slightly different. WOT263 is more of a brawling tank. It's got a lot of speed, lack of gun depression. The Jagdpanzer E100, well, it's got some great armor and that 1200 HE round, making that a fun tank to play. T110E3 is known for its sluggishness, and super armor comes in at over 1,000 with that HE shot. AMX Foch, the 155, well, it is a autoloader, 2 shell. You can use this tank to really brawl, get in someone's face. It has great mobility and good armor. Hori, we've got pretty good mobility as well, some decent armor, a big gun, but only 640 on the HE. My favorite of the tier 10s is the WZ113 GFT, 960 on the HE. This is probably one of the slower of the tanks, but a little bit more on the heavily armored side, so it's a little bit more forgiving. The WOT268 really is hard to describe in any one term for this tank, primarily because the armor, as we'll see in Armor Inspector, is a little trollish, but easily penned by many tanks. It's got good mobility, but the gun just is not that accurate. So let's take a look at how that plays out. Damage per minute, 2,700 here. We are towards the bottom. Only the E3 is below this tank as damage per minute. So keep that in mind if you get into any brawling situations with these tanks. Your damage per minute number is towards the bottom. Pen, on the other hand, is really nice. Towards the top, only the Hori being better there. And if we look at the heat number, that jumps to 380. So no problems really with pen on this tank. Alpha 670. The downside comes when you get to the reload here, 14.5 seconds. A a lot of these mediums and faster tanks, you're going to get 2-3 shots on you before you can get reloaded. So if we look at the aim time at 2.17, and here's the problem, in my opinion, the dispersion at 0.344 makes this tank very difficult to be a sniping tank. You got to use the armor, which is not quite as effective as, say, a Jagdpanzer or the 110E3, which have those high dispersion numbers, but they can more or less brawl a little bit easier than you can in the OBJ268, which is why I think this is a little bit of a challenging tank to play. So hopefully we'll pick up some ideas here on how to play it a little bit better. 48 kilometers per hour means that you can keep up with those fast heavies, slow mediums, making this, in my opinion, kind of a second line tank. Support those heavies, don't stay back in the map and try to snipe, and I'll show you why in one of my gameplays. Power to weight ratio is great. You don't have any problems with this tank accelerating, sluggishness, or anything like that. Only 1,800 hit points. Would love to see a little bit more on that if we compare that to the Jagdpanzer E100 at 2,100, but it's pretty much in line with the rest of the TDs there. And here's the second problem, in my opinion. Look at this 195 of hull armor here compared to 230, 250, 305. So the tank does struggle a little bit with the armor. And we see that here with the win rate in the tank over the last 90 days. It is the lowest of these tanks. Damage per the average damage, though, is sitting kind of in the middle. So keep that in mind as we look at Armor Inspector here. I think this is a great value to have a subscription to this website. You can pull up all of your tanks and look at the pen on them, the x-rays on them, and get a good idea about the tanks. So we look at the tank here. We've got a little bit of spaced armor. That's the purple on the side. So especially if you are shooting at this tank, try to avoid this area at all costs, because you're most likely not going to be able to pen, primarily because you've got the angle going one way, your shot's going to lose velocity, and then you're not going to be able to pen this steeply inclined hull of the side of the tank. If you are shooting for the tank, you want to try to shoot in this area on the side as well. Now, the front obviously has the pike nose, which does increase the effective armor. It's 125 millimeters, but 310 effective. And just you remember our numbers there. Tank does have 7 degrees of gun depression. So if you get that, and we'll go back and put it on the pen here. This is being shot at by an IS-4. Let's put it on with AP. And let's turn off calibrated shells. And you can see there's quite a good bit of red on this tank. However, if you are flat, not so much. And this is what I'm talking about as far as this kind of a tricky armor profile. Because if you're wiggling this tank around, you can change those from green to red fairly easily. And I think that's kind of what you got to do if you know someone's going to shoot at you. And hopefully, the area that they hit is red when you've wiggled into it. Obviously, you can help increase that by getting your tank on a hill and looking pulled down, hiding this lower plate here with a ridge line or something, and that is going to make this tank quite strong. However, if we then move up and go to the heat, you see the problem with our armor profile. Is really difficult to put this armor in a position where someone can't pen this with premium ammunition. So just keep that in mind. A little bit of wiggle, maybe they hit the gun mantlet, maybe they hit somewhere that turns red at the time of their shot. All right, guys, so I wanted to start the first game here on Canal. This is a big map, and with the lineup that we have here with just a medium and a light, I didn't want to go over to D. That's a very difficult place for tank destroyers to play. I don't like pushing all the way up to A because you can get spotted on that crossing. And obviously we have this nice spot up here or TDs to sit and hopefully get somebody on the crossing. And so this video here is primarily on why this tank just does not do well, as that 60 TP gets annihilated there, and our shot just goes a little bit into that mound, and that was a rather quickly aimed shot. We've now got the OBJ268 on the hill. We're going to drop Adrenaline. He's going to get spotted and drop down, but we're going to aim this shot in here and take a shot, and we don't pierce the armor on that one. So we've taken 2 shots and have not had any luck just yet. WZ's going to come into view here. We're going to aim this in, and we're not going to be able to pin that either. So as you can see here, the tank, while capable of being a sniper, I just don't think the accuracy is quite there. We're going to aim in here on the Caro as he comes back into the middle. And we're going to get a track shot, no damage. So was that 4 shots in, no damage in a role of being a sniper. And so I think this battle here was one of many that led me to believe, you know, I might have been better there had I gone with the meds and just supported them as kind of a second line. Now, I felt like the Caro was going to come up over the hill here, and we will get a little bit of damage into this game. But it was a losing effort, unfortunately. So, you know, it can be a challenge. It can be frustrating at times with this tank there as we, in the 183, take out the Caro. So now let's take a look at a battle here on mines. Trying to be more aggressive. We do have the Grill, who's going to be sitting in the back as support for anybody trying to crest over the middle hill here. But I'm just trying to get a quick shot off early in this battle, and we'll see some of the challenges here with the accuracy on the gun. Come up and spot the E100. Should be able to pen, and that shot's not even close. We've now got a Leopard over to our left, which is one of those tanks that we can HE. And that's always kind of just a juicy target. We're going to see if we can angle ourselves up here and get him in the crossing. Sure enough, those are the type of shots, 1150 damage with a fire, that really make playing this tank nice. WZ's going to go up here, and I don't know how he misses. But yeah, he's going to get down to being a 1-shot, and that's going to cause the T-55A to head on over there. I should have been a little bit quicker to spot that, and I would have been able to get him in the crossing. And he's wise enough not to pull forward, and he's going to sit there, take out the WZ, and he's just not going to pull in front of that rock, and he's not going to be spotted any longer. So no point waiting around here. We've got other tanks to focus on. And this shot here leads to my frustration with this tank. It all comes down to that higher dispersion. We're looking at the back of the E100. We take our shot, and yeah, we just completely missed the shot there. Not a whole lot left in this game, just 2 tanks. One of those very lopsided battles. E55A, no problem petting us from that angle. Yeah, exactly, E100. What kind of game was that? That's, you know, one of those 7-1 routes that we see so many times now in Blitz. Only 1800 damage. But I think that showed you some of the highlights of the tank and some of the stuff that is kind of disappointing with the tank. Alright guys, so here we are on Normandy. Let's be a little bit more aggressive in this tank. Let's not sit back too long and try to play sniper. But let's not get overly aggressive in this tank either. And that's going to require having a lot of map awareness. And I think that's what makes this tank a little bit more challenging to play. So we're going to push on through C here. I'm not even going to wait to capture C because we know they're going to have someone in D here in just a second. So made my mind up. We're going to go take a big shot at D, but we drive a little bit too close to the rocks here. We're unable to get the shot aimed in on time, and the object is able to angle up that armor just fast enough. Now we're reloaded on our second shot. We'll make sure that this one goes through. I was aiming for a track shot there to keep him in place, but not enough to completely damage. There's the 183. We've got the grill now to our right, and the rest of the team down there to my left. So, word of warning here, guys. Don't try to snapshot in the 268. It does not work well. Look at that. We weren't even close when we paid the price with 1,000 damage from the 183. Now we're gonna out reload him, so I know that I can pull up here and get a shot in on the grill. Spall liner, we do 738 in damage, and we can pull back now from the 183, who is close to being reloaded at this point in time. Now we've got to play a little bit cautious. We cannot afford to take another shot from the 183. We're going to have to wait for him to be engaged elsewhere. Keeping an eye on grill. Vickers looks like he is moving in here. And there we go. We get one more shot. We get backed up. And the Vickers takes him out. We're at 2,000 damage. 4 tanks left. Grill's been taken out. We've got tanks here to my left. We should be able to get the fat chat. There we go. We did that all while keeping that 268 in between us and those houses there. Trying to come back and get a shot on the M48, but he has pulled forward. I'm going to go in and get a shot in here on the opposing 268. There we see that armor profile. We're at 2,900 damage. There's only 2 tanks left. We're not going to get there in time. And that's going to finish out our battle here. But as you can see, I think this tank just works better in close combat. And the mobility is great on it. You get around quite nicely. So that put us at the top there. 1,038 on the XP. 2 destroyed, 5 damage. That was a level 2. Alright guys, so keeping this theme of being a little bit more aggressive, we're on Winter Malinovka here. And looking at these lineups, they've got 4 heavies, a TD, a medium, and a light. And our meds are going to go right. Conway looks like he's going right as well. That's going to put our TD, or our heavies, a little bit outnumbered if their team splits. And we've already got some spots up there, the AMX, Sheridan. Not seeing anything else at the moment, so being aggressive here. I'm anticipating their heavies going up to C, and there we go. We get the first signs that that's going to happen. So we're going to keep these buildings between us and the left side here, and we're going to pull forward and get a shot on this AMX. And this is really going to get him to try to run away. As we get a lovely little bounce there. Probably goes into the tracks on the Sheridan. But this AMX, missing that shot. Still got the tanks to our left. We're keeping those buildings as our cover. And those, they're going to be facing our two mediums here. We'll load up HE on the rear, making sure that we get the kill shot there. Gonna come up behind Sheridan here. And sure enough, kill number 2, 1500 damage. 2 tanks down. Now I'm hugging the rocks here so that I can try to stay hull down. We can see the object 268-4. It's really nasty armor profile. But luckily he's showing me the side of that tank, which is the weak spot. Nice shot here on the T110 E5 with a max roll. Got the E100 here. I'm gonna wait for him to fire. There goes the shot from the E100. He kills the Sheridan. He's gonna turn around. We're gonna shoot the engine deck, get a fire, get him out of the game for kill number 3. Again, I'm trying to hug the rocks here. And we bounce each other. Now I figure I have a little bit faster reload time, but I didn't realize here that he's got like adrenaline going. So he's going to get his shot into me. Takes my track out. Luckily we didn't shoot, so we're able to take out an E5. 1 tank left, and as you can see, the tank just does really well in a more aggressive manner. Back of the turret here, 708 damage. Gonna put us very close to 5,000 when we add in the fire. And that was 4 kills. Turned out to be an ace mastery. Actually, the first one in this tank. Over 200 battles. This tank is not easy to master, but after playing these series of games and realizing that I did better by being more aggressive in it, you know, I think you can see some progression there. And just have to watch out. The armor profile can get some bounces, but it's not consistent. So really I just have to be map aware with this tank here. And just wanted to see where we're at with it. I mean, my win rate in it is not 55%. Not great. 2,500 average damage there. It is definitely not one of my favorite tank destroyers to play. But hopefully you've got some tips, tricks, and can play this tank a little bit better now. And if this video was valuable to you, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And of course, remember guys, put down what you want to see next in the full tank reviews, and we'll try to get them going into 2023. And of course, Happy New Year to everyone out there. Have fun out there. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.